percent. Percent is made of two words, per, meaning out of, or another term is every or each. Cent is another term for hundred, which means if you put them together, out of 100, say 5% is basically 5 per 100. If we have 25%, is basically 25 out of 100. Percent is a fraction with a denominator of 100. Say for example, 15% is equal to 15 over 100. Say 35% is the same as 35 over 100. And if we say 91% is the same as 91 over 100. Now if we change this into decimal, 15% is equal to 15 over 100, and that also is equal to 0.15. Alright, so 35% is also the same as 0.35. So in decimal, 91% is the same as 0.91. Problems related to percentage. First, percent to be number. Find 8% of 340. So to find 8% of 340, of meaning multiply, times. Always remember the word of. So this means that 8%, which is 8 out of 100, times 340. So 8 over 100 times 340. So basically, we can multiply 8 and 340, then divide by 100. Or we can also divide first 8 by 100 times 340. Alright, so let's try to do 8 divided by 100 times 340. So that is 0.08 times 340. So if you multiply 0.08 times 340, and that should be the same as 27.2. Number 2. Finding the number when percent is known. For example, 45 is 30% of what number? Of again means multiply, meaning 30% of what number? 30% times a number. So we do not know what is the number. Maybe we can just say a number is a variable n, meaning we could rewrite it in the form of 30% times n is equal to 45. Remember, 30% is the same as 30 over 100 times n is equal to 45. Then multiply 30 times n. That should be 30 n over 100 and is equal to 45. Now let us have this 30n over 100 equals 45. Then how about 100? This is the denominator here. So we need to multiply both of them by 100 so that we will eliminate this 100 over here. Alright, so we do that. 100 times 30n over 100, that should be 30n. Next, 100 times 45, so we can have 100 times 45, which will give us 4,500. Again, this is 30n. Now to solve for the value of n, we will divide both of them by 30. 4,500 divided by 30. So this 30 here will cancel out because that's 1. So 1n, or just n, is equal to 4,500 divided by 30. We could basically just remove the zeros at the end. So we have 450 divided by 3, which is 150. Number 3, finding what percent one number is of another. Example, 6 is what percent of 24? So this basically is 6 out of 24. What percent is that? So we can rewrite this. 6 out of 24 is the same as percent. Percent meaning out of 100. We do not know what is this number here. We can write it as this number n. Now to know that n over 100 is equal to 6 over 24. Now this is over 100, then we multiply all of them by 100. The purpose is to eliminate this 100 below on the denominator by multiplying this 100. So to do that, we have n times 100 divided by 100. So we have 100 n over 100 is equal to 6 times 100, that is 600 over 24. As you observe, there's 100 here and there's also 100 here, so that only have a remaining of n, and then 600 divided by 24 is, that is 25. So since the number is 25, we have here is 25 over 100, which means 25%. And that answer to our problem. 6 is what percent of 24? Then it is 25%.